Just means that, like, if you were looking for something and it's, like, right in front of you. I'm really busy trying to get ready for camp. I gotta go pick up some, like, big floodlight flashlight things from my brother. There's just a lot going on. So maybe. Like, they're battery operated, but they're, like, campsite lights. So not like a handheld you walk around with a flashlight. Make sure everyone stays safe. There's, like, a couple, like, rocks and stuff you want to make sure people can see at night. You try.
Oh my goodness, last year I didn't climb on a hill, and guess what? So I had, like, my feelers, which had, like, spikes in them.
Was your whole story that you had to climb on a hill?
No.
I was about to say, that doesn't suck. That's just...
Well, no, but, like, my feelers, like, they have, like, spikes in them.
Yeah.
And, like, I'm good uphill, like, maybe, like, you know, like, that little shimmy that people do that, like that. So basically, I had those on, but then they got wet. I don't know how. I think I stepped in, like, a puddle or whatever. Like, yeah. And guess what?
Looks like you're exhausting me of drinks.
That's fine. So basically...
All right.
Sir!
I have a job to do.
But then I had black shoes, and I
There's
went
also
down...
video evidence right now of me having not done my job for an entire minute.
And 15 seconds. Basically, I went down, and, like,
So,
slid on my face.
yesterday...
20 seconds.
Yesterday, we started talking about growth patterns turning into, Charlie, would you shut the door, please? Thank you. Turning into our y equals mx plus b rule. And I got a couple, like, messages via email or whatever else, and just people that came to ask me for help. So I want to, again, remind you guys that Schoology is not just, like, a passive place. Schoology is, like, active, right? It's going to constantly be changing. New things get added to it. So in Unit 2, and I don't know why I kept the PBS video separate, but in Unit 2, look up here if you care to know where help is. I've now added, I put all of practice into one folder because there's a lot of practice and it was just cluttering up the folder. This is from yesterday. If you didn't get it all down, I decided to go scan it because a couple people asked, like, hey, can I, like, copy your notes or have a, like, so if you didn't get it all down yesterday, I also can print this, like, if there's a reason or if you missed school. So anyone playing along at home, if you're still sick today and you just want a copy of this, I can print that here for you. Do not use your color ink at home. And then I added some videos. Now, some of them are, like, so some of them are real people. Right, like math teachers that are making videos for their kids. Professor Dave Explains. Or my favorites from my YU, which again, can't show a ton of this because it's not my content and I'm still recording. But some of them are animated, right? So Professor Von Schmohawk here is a really smart guy that has a lot to tell us about these different rules and how they apply. So if you are struggling on anything and you reach out to me, I will likely at least put something up to help you, if not also tell you, hey, come work with me. Because most of the time it's, hey, come work with me. And I don't know why the video is not showing. Oh, I forgot to link the other video. There's a more in-depth explanation of slope that I will make sure that I link, so I will keep that open until we do that. But so yeah, those equations we've been working with, we're going to skip past 4:30 because we just looked at some of the equations that we have been working with the past couple days. On your graph paper that you should get in the habit of having out every day, scramble, 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 scramble.
Hey.
Every now and then a nice poached egg. Right. Graph paper. Your graph paper notes we've been working on. Well, somebody said scrambled eggs are the best. So, the graph paper notes. Hey guys, I should not have to compete to talk with you guys. The graph paper notes that we started a couple days ago. I don't know how much you might have on them, but if you still have space on one of these papers, like, you could just draw a squiggly line or a whatever line, or you could honestly try to, like, box it out nice, depending on how you want to take notes. And we're going to title these notes, and maybe I'll start a fresh page just because I want to try to keep things cleaner than not clean. I think I'll start a fresh page and just title it y equals mx plus b. So from yesterday, let's just do the like who was paying attention sort of thing. I'm probably bleeding through that paper. Can anyone remember? Well, okay, so if we're just going to go in order, our y, what can we call? I mean, yesterday y was our amount of tiles. But like y might be the amount of 2x4s I need to buy, y might be the number of washers we need, y might be the number of marshmallows I need to buy. So like when we're working with an equation or a function, which is actually what we're going to start to call these things, right now we call this a rule, but eventually we're going to call it a function. So if you want to write that word down, it is a function. Y is like the end result. Y is what we get after we do the math. Y we could call the... Anyone have an idea? It is the output. Y is the output. Which we're not going to go completely in order, but if y is the output, what does that then make x? Yeah, x is the thing we're normally like plugging in. We're saying if it's figure 7, figure 4, if it's 5 years after I planted it. Like, what is the x? That's our input. Now the m, we started talking about yesterday. Yeah, maybe I'll start to change some colors, because I feel like otherwise my paper's not going to look fun enough.
I think art is your second best subject.
My sister is an artist. I should go show you guys her Insta sometime. I used to joke she stole the artistic skills, but then I realized my artistic skills just happen in like blueprint drawing. So like this is my art. Guys, I'm not even joking. I was out to dinner with my wife up in Pal. Sorry, we still need to talk about the date you guys planned for my wife and I. And this was to like select wine. And I started like, she was preoccupied with something and I just picked up the little baby golf pencil and I started drawing out what I want. This is my desk. I rebuilt my desk last weekend, just by the way. Humble brag, but that is my type of art. M from yesterday. Man, if I go back to that paper that Hudson said is available in here and see if there was anything he wrote down. Anyone remember or flip back to your paper from yesterday? Like, what do you have written on that paper when we were talking about... I don't know if we got this, like, I don't think we got this far in your class, because I added to it. Yeah, we're going to talk. So, on your notes, especially because we didn't make it this far in your class yesterday, I wonder, I mean, somebody probably distracted me somehow. M is actually called our slope. Now, what's another name that we can give to it? It's the growth. But it's not always growth, because it might be positive or negative. So be careful. Growth is kind of a misnomer. Misnomer means like a word that is not exactly the right word for the situation. Growth makes you feel like it's always going to be gaining. It's not always going to be gaining. It can be growing negatively, right? So how we find our slope is delta y over delta x. What do those triangles mean? Change. It's the change in. So if we relate that to 413, you could be adding to your paper from yesterday if you wanted. If I have 2 dots on a line, like... we call these nice dots. Anyone remember? If it's on the crosshairs, it starts with an L. I'd be really impressed if you remembered. It also might go around your garden to keep animals out, but then it looks like this as opposed. Points that fall right on the crosshairs are called lattice points. So you want to find some lattice points. Guys, all that means is points that are nice, locked into like whole numbers, or at least integer numbers. So from here to here, we have 2 nice points. We can measure how far we went up in value of y, which was 4. How far we went over in the value of x, which remember, we scaled our x differently. So you're not just counting boxes, right? Be careful, you're not counting boxes, you're using the scale. So if we drew this on our paper from yesterday, it'd be a 4 to 1, right? Because up 4 over 1. As opposed to, if we drew the slope triangle, which is what we call the little triangle that we drew, if we draw the slope triangle here, I think we discovered yesterday, what did we say the slope of that line was? Well, if slope is growth, oh crap. If slope is growth, oh yeah, the slope of that line was 2. Right? Our pink line, the lower, the less steep line, had a slope of 2. Where the other lines all had a slope of 4, making them parallel. Questions? Guys, I'm trying to slow down and teach a little differently this year because like these are the things that people were struggling with. So I tried to kind of make notes, like mental or whatever else you want to say, of like, hey, teach this better. Growth mindset, right? We can always be better than we were before. And the B. The B. So from our paper yesterday, our B was like +3, +3, +1, +2. So I think it was the number of tiles. I mean, this is specific to yesterday. But B was like the number of tiles in figure... In figure what? Figure 0, right? The B over here is 2. That's at figure 0. B is 1. Figure... So guys, what your B value is, it is your Y when X equals 0, which is known as the y-intercept. Now, a lot of people like to say, oh, that's where the line starts. Not quite, because most lines keep going the other direction. So, I mean, it's not really like, well, it's kind of wrong if you say that's where the line starts. Unless that legit is where the line starts. Like, I plant a tree, I'm calling this day 0, that's where my tree starts. But really, if my tree is already growing, there were negative days, like the line would actually go beyond the y-axis. All right, so that is our vocab that we need to know. Now let's look at a few situations. That is not the thing I'm doing. So if we look here, could you and your partner determine what the rule of this graph is? And we don't need those words. I'm just going to get this as big as possible. Could you figure out this rule for this graph? Turn to your partner and talk to them. Can you determine the growth? Basically, can you determine the y-intercept? Could you write it that?
So, x was up by 1, y was up by 3. 3 starts at 1.
This is not on your paper. It's just up here, so you guys are looking and talking.
By y as by 3 every time. So basically, 3y plus x equals 1. 3y equals 1.
What?
3y.
That's what we're trying to do. The function is the rule. The rule is the function.
So y equals.
Just to clarify, in case it needs said, where the x and y axis cross is always your origin, it is always 0, 0.
So
Gravity works. What doesn't work is me remembering to grab the cards.
Yeah. So, yeah. Yeah, you're right.
Ella, if we start writing this rule with y equals, what comes next? The growth, the slope, or like the y-intercept? Which one is like with the x? So this right here, this equation is what we're trying to match. The growth, right? The slope or the growth, we can say, yeah, it's called both or either. Do you know what the slope, growth, whatever you want to call it, is here? Yeah, because the change in y is 3. The change in x is 1. 3 over 1 is 3. Beatrix, do you know what the y-intercept is here? So it's going to be where the line hits the y-axis or where it goes through the y-axis. Now here, it looks like my line is starting there. Charlie? Yeah, it is 1 because where we hit the y-axis, we don't go through it here, but where we hit it is right there. Any questions on how we figured out the rule of that line is 3x plus 1? The rule for that line. Growth is 3 because it goes up 3 every time it goes over 1. Y-intercept is 1 because it starts at 1. This is on your paper. Talk to your neighbor about this. Try to determine what the rule is. The rule is your y equals mx plus b.
Okay.
Right? The rule is y equals mx plus b. You get that done, move on to the other patterns.
Let's start by actually doing this addition, right? Let's start by actually doing addition.
This is on your paper.
Wait.
Oh, you did already do that?
Yeah.
Try the other ones.
17.
All 3 of them?
Wait, what? 17.
Way to be overachieving. I guess you could work on. Wait, you don't have like the y equals. Yeah, we need to try to write out what the actual rule is.
All you have to do is basically basically it's number times 5 minus 30. Alright, so the x goes up by 1, the y goes up by 5, so the growth is 5, right? So the slope is 5. Slope is 5. So it will be 5.
Beatrix, you doing okay?
I think negative 2. Yeah. So write it down. Yeah. I wrote it sideways because my handwriting is big and it wouldn't fit. So we continue doing 33.
Yep, part B and part C.
Yeah.
Or part B 1 and 2. Yep, go ahead and continue on into those.
Right.
Yeah.
So y equals 5x. No, not
Wait just a second.
No, that's not. It grows by 2 and adds 1. So
Yeah, it sure looks that way. Yeah, hey guys, I don't know how, and it's probably a me thing, and then see me after class if you want a piece of candy for that. This, it's right up here on the screen. So I quite frankly don't know how this happened unless the book had, I don't think I remade these tables. I think I copy pasted them, but this should be a 3.
That's why I was so confused.
Okay.
Well, then, if you're so confused, do something about it. Like, go ask someone. Guys, people make mistakes. You have to be willing to ask someone, hey, is this a mistake?
And minus 3 subtracts 3 every time. So negative 3x. Negative 3x. Y equals 2x. No, negative 3x. Because it subtracts 3 every time.
Yeah, I definitely copy pasted that because that is an image on the document.
Yeah, how about it's negative 3x. Let's look at it. Wait. If we take negative 3 times 1, right? Yeah, it's negative 3. Negative 3 times 1. Plus. One is 7. So plus 7. Negative 3x plus 7. Wait. Negative 3 plus 7. No, negative 3x plus 7. Because it's a 3 every time. That's what I mean. Yeah.
Maddie,
Never mind.
your partner decided to say that they're going to be lazy and not fill in this table. This is a made-up story. Not picking on Beatrix looking like she needs about 10 more hours of sleep. So if we were trying to figure out the rule without filling in the table, is that possible? Could we write down like a y equals for this situation without filling in the table? Yeah. Can you tell me what the rule is? Beatrix, can you? Yeah. You said no, then yes.
No, I said no.
Beatrix, can you? I bet between either of you. Okay, I'll let you pass. Amir? You're right. However, we normally, and the habit we want to get into is write the mx first. So Amir said negative 2 plus 5x. That's not wrong, but the better way to write it is 5x plus negative 2. Because the y-intercept, that's your b. Right? So when x is 0, it's telling you your b value. And they show us our growth is plus 5 every time. So our slope comes from the growth. Our y-intercept comes from when x is 0, what is y? So we actually don't need to fill in this table. You could be lazy and figure out, not lazy, efficient. Mathematicians are efficient. Owen is not here. Hopefully he's getting his cast put on. Evelyn, what about B? They already filled in the table for us.
It would be x equals...
Y equals?
Oh, my bad. Y equals 5x plus 2. Am I smart or am I dumb?
You're really close to smart. You're really, really close. Now wait, if you were doing homework with Evelyn, and you realize, wait, no, that's not quite right. What would you say politely? What would you say to Evelyn about the mistake she?
Oh, I know what it is.
Evelyn, what would you say to yourself about the mistake you just made?
X equals 5 plus 2.
What? 5 plus 2.
X.
Ah, there it is.
I'm so smart.
Y-intercept is 5. Our growth is 2. But again, the better way to write it would be 2x plus 5. Again, in case somebody's quietly being confused, y-intercept is 5 because that's where x is 0. Your growth is always 2, so that is where we get the slope of 2. I'm here. Your hand was up. Are we just like doing head, shoulders? Or we could do the Macarena. Okay, our last one, Claire. Why is your hand, like, I notice the deck of cards in my hand. I have to. If not, I just, like, I cease existing if I don't use the cards. Claire, can you tell me the rule for this pattern when we fix this to be a 3?
Y equals negative 3x plus 7.
Y equals, no wait, negative 3. Why is that?
Because you're minusing 3.
Oh, we're going down. Sugar, we're going down.
Oh, have you ever listened to Rosanna by Toto?
Have I listened to Toto? Negative 3 is your slope because we're continuously going down by 3. And 7 is your y-intercept because when x is 0, y is 7. Very good, Claire. Questions?
What about after that?
So what if can I draw figures? We could. I want you to do part B. We're going to skip part A because we don't need to do that. So, careful. A tile pattern decreases 2 tiles each figure. Guys, are we good? I'm just real distracted with what's going on because this is not on your paper. This is why you have graph paper out, right? So you got space to work on. Tile pattern decreases 2 each figure, and figure 2 of the pattern has 8 tiles. You can if you want to. You can if you want to draw it. You don't have to. What we want to try to figure out is the equation. My advice would probably be set up a table to figure out the equation, but that's up to you. It decreases 2 tiles every figure, and figure 2 has 8 tiles. If I was you, I would make a table, maybe like in your graph paper. Is S up there? No, they made S scale factor. No, system of equations. That's why we changed it. If you're going to be mad that I give you help, don't look up here. Horizontal tables are easier on my smart board. I don't care if you make horizontal or vertical tables. But if you're going horizontal, X on top, Y on bottom. If you're going vertical, X on left, Y on right. Like, we do need to agree on those rules. Why? Because that's math. X comes before Y. My pattern just disappeared. It's like when I stop using cards, you just cease to exist. You have no tiles left. So, Will, can you help me figure out what I'm really supposed to do here? Like, I did everything they told me. Yeah, like, what'd you do? What'd you think about?
The base is 4x, right?
I don't know. I'm asking for your help.
The base is 4x.
What do you mean the base? I don't know what the base. Are we talking about a triangle? You can absolutely, like, I need help. If you need help also, we probably should pass. Like, I mean, it's all good. Alex, can you help me?
What to do here?
Yeah, like what? I mean, I did what they told me. Figure 2 had 8 tiles. I go down by 2 each. Okay, but I ran out of tiles. I don't know what to do now.
Negative.
What do you mean?
Like, it would be
What
negative.
do I need to keep going this way? Like, they want me to try to find the rule.
You don't need to keep going to find the rule, though. So
Okay, well,
what's the point
what-
of finding the rule?
What can I do then? So forget about this side.
Yeah.
What can I do over here?
So basically, you could just add 2 for if you're going down.
Oh, if I subtract 2 this way, then I'm going to add 2 that way. Oh, thank you, Alex. So this is 10, and this is 12. Questions on why that is? Well, Alex, do you want to explain it again?
Because basically it decreases by 2 tiles for every figure. So if you're going back figures, you're adding 2.
The pattern goes down 2 every time the figure goes up. So this pattern is actually shrinking. So if we're going down 2 as we go that way, if I reverse the direction, I reverse the behavior, and now we're going to add 2 to the tiles, right? Add 2, add 2. And now we've gotten to figure 0. Simon not here also, but sure, Charlie, since you're raising your hand and Simon's normally back there, you want to tell me the rule?
Alright, the rule is y equals 2x plus 12.
I'm going to write down the plus 12.
Oh wait, I got that wrong.
Your foot is stuck in a bear trap. You're not in a trap door, but your foot is stuck.
Wait, negative 2.
Negative 2x.
I had that on my paper, I just said that wrong.
And that's why negatives are a trap door. Have I shown you the Tacoma Narrows Bridge yet?
No.
No.
You know how, like, if you make one mistake when you're solving, like, math problems, pretty much everything after that is wrong?
Yeah.
So this engineer did what Charlie did. I should probably pause my recording. Had the negative